You are about to watch the incredible true story of the American Revolution, the war that birthed the United States and challenged global empires. The year was 1776. For more than a year, Americans had been fighting and dying against British forces. Yet, despite the ongoing bloodshed, they were fighting a deadly war without a unified objective. They had not officially declared what they were actually fighting for. The colonies were fractured. A vocal faction of the public still held on to the hope that Britain would compromise, apologize, and restore the old order. Others had already made their final decision. They wanted complete independence. This ideological division was the greatest threat to the rebellion. A divided people cannot defeat a global empire. To survive, they had to agree on a single, unified end goal. The debate grew fierce until a powerful voice emerged from Virginia. Richard Henry Lee proposed an unthinkable pivot, that the colonies should declare themselves completely free and independent states. The Continental Congress finally agreed to formalize this monumental statement. A committee was formed, and among its members, they selected a young Virginia lawyer named Thomas Jefferson to write the first draft. Jefferson sat down and outlined an explosive philosophical concept. He wrote that governments only exist to protect the inherent rights of the people. In his vision, authority originates from the people at the bottom, flowing upward to support the state. And if a government became destructive to those rights, the people held the ultimate authority to alter or dismantle it entirely. The document was brought back to Congress, where it was intensely revised and debated. Every single sentence mattered. Every word carried literal life or death weight. Finalizing this document was a capital crime. By adding their names, these men became traitors to the British Crown, accepting the legal status of outlaws subject to immediate execution. On July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress officially adopted the Declaration of Independence, severing ties with Britain. The word spread across the 13 colonies. Church bells rang out, massive crowds gathered, and celebrations erupted in the streets. The 13 colonies had achieved the impossible. They had birthed a completely new, free, and independent nation in words alone. But behind the cheering crowds lay a terrifying reality. The Declaration had irreversibly escalated the conflict to a point of no return. Any lingering chance of a peaceful compromise was destroyed. If the British defeated the rebellion now, there would be no mercy. The men who signed the document would be hunted down and executed, and the timing could not have been worse. George Washington looked across New York Harbor and watched a massive naval invasion force appearing on the horizon. A massive British fleet was arriving. Hundreds of ships and thousands of professional British and German troops were massing on the water, outnumbering the defenders before a single shot was fired. The overwhelming power of the arriving military machine stood in stark contrast to the inexperienced, outmatched American army waiting in New York. The dream of independence had finally been declared, but a nation created on paper is meaningless if it cannot survive its very first defense on a physical battlefield. To be continued in Episode 6, Washington's Darkest Hour. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to History Stories Dose so you never miss the next chapter of history.